Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back. Happy New Year. I know I have been away trying to get these new podcast episodes. So, got a lot of exciting stuff coming down for the podcast. So, just been working on some new episodes, working on this coaching program that I am about to launch here shortly. So, if you're interested in knowing how to co parent positively and need some coaching, come join the program. So I will have a link below with all the information to my new coaching program. And it is going to be such a positive, wonderful space for you as the divorced mom that need to navigate co parenting with your ex spouse in a positive, collaborative way. It's one subject I know very, very familiar with because I have my own co parenting struggles, and we all know it is not rainbows and sunshines every single day, right? So, I am going to be offering a special founding members price. So, if you're interested, go grab that pre sale. It will be available. Everything will be in the show notes. So, make sure you check out my program. Also, if you have an interesting story, make sure you shoot me a DM or send me an email. I will have everything on the show notes. I love stories. If you want to come on to the podcast, I have an application that you can fill out so you can come on the show and share your story. I know I had done a wonderful podcast episode with a guest that I should be releasing probably at the end of this month, maybe in February. Okay. So I have to edit the episode. Wonderful mom. She talks about all her experience with her medically complex child. And it was such a great episode to talk to her. So I'm super excited to release that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about because I've kind of shifted on how I'm doing this podcast and really narrowing down just who I really want to talk to specifically because I know this is very near and dear to my heart as far as being, a special needs mom. I have a child that has a rare disease, and I also have a child that has autism. So, my focus for this podcast is to really dive in as far as co parenting and children with rare diseases. Because I think this is something that's not really talked about, and it is something that has been weighing on my mind. So, and I know there's a lot of you moms out there that are divorced, co parenting, and having struggles, and have a child that has all these complex medical needs with a rare disease. So, we are specifically talking to you. Now, in today's episode, we are going to talk about navigating co parenting with a rare twist. So, thought that was an interesting thing. So, what we know when it comes to co parenting, especially when we have children that were diagnosed with a rare disease, comes with a lot of medical complications, lots of medical complexities, lots of doctor's appointments, lots of therapies, feeding, nutrition, surgeries, you name it. Like the list goes on and on and on. Now, if you are like me who went through a divorce, which it's been 5 years since I've been divorced now, and you have had your own co parenting struggles when it comes to your ex spouse, whether it's parenting exchanges, parenting plans, schedules, doctor's appointments, school um, meetings, therapies, the list goes on and on. There are lots of times where there are challenges when it comes to communication, when it comes to collaborating on these things that need to be done for the best interest of your child, and even financial obligations. So, one of the things that I think is super important when we're navigating co parenting, I mean, there is a twist to this because you have a child with a rare disease and you have to manage how you're going to do the exchanges. You have to manage how to make sure that each parent has equal time. You have to manage medical appointments and being there together to know what is going on for your child and advocate for the best interest of your child. When there are IEP meetings, if your child goes to school, that you have to sit at a table with these team of specialists and team of, school professionals, and trying to advocate and make sure that they get the correct services, the right amount of services, the right amount of time, and being there together as both of the parents. Now, I know there's a lot of things that can be thrown as a monkey wrench when it comes to new partners, new spouses, blended families, which I will have an entire podcast episode when it comes to that. I can honestly tell you that there's a lot of things that get thrown into the mix because out of that can come jealousy, there can come animosity, thinking that, oh, well, if we go to these appointments together, you must still have feelings for him. That is not the fucking case, okay? And I'm going to be really blunt and honest because on my podcast, I'm very blunt and honest about not only my experience, my journey, and just the experience out there that I'm pretty sure that every mom that's listening to this is going through as well. When it comes to navigating co-parenting, it is not about you and your ex-spouse anymore. It is about what is in the best interest of your child. It is about how can we get them the best resource? How can we get them the best help? How can we make sure that we advocate for our child's education to make sure they get the services that are needed for them, to make sure they get the amount of time every week for those services, to make sure we get the correct therapists for our child. Okay. When it comes to parenting exchanges, okay, who's got the child this amount of days, this many weekends, holidays, and splitting up the time, making sure that every home is equipped with, adaptive equipment for your child. Make sure that your home is set up so that they can easily maneuver or you can easily just get them around the home and they have some sort of life skill. Or when it comes to financial obligations, how do we split the cost evenly? Because remember, we're both the parents. It is not a one-way street. And I think that when it comes to divorce and it comes to trying to collaborate with each other, of course, divorce brings a lot of animosity. Divorce brings a lot of resentment. Divorce brings a lot of hate. I use that word very loosely because it can, a lot of anger. It can bring on a lot of depression and just make you lash out because, hey, this is not what I expected. I mean, having your child diagnosed with some rare disease is stressful and can make you angry enough because you're wondering how this happened and why. Just imagine throwing divorce on top of that and trying to co-parent with somebody that is very difficult, that will give you a tough time, that won't show up, that the boundaries are laxed, whatever the case may be, because I could tell you in my own personal journey, I've experienced all of them. I still experience some of it today. But when you have healthy boundaries for you, not for the other person, and you enforce those boundaries, that's how you can manage and make sure that you have some kind of peace in your life. Okay. It is said that there you can't rebuild your life after divorce. That's bullshit. Yes, you can. I'll tell you, life has been much better after divorce to just not only for me, my mental health, my peace, and just my home environment, just to have some kind of stability and to be able to just regain my identity and just level it up 2.0 style. So you can co-parent with your ex-spouse in a very collaborative way. And you have to make sure that you have boundaries and have that communication. But you have to remember the communication has to be more of a business like type of style where it's concise, it's short, it's to the point, and it's respectful. Those are the things that I do teach in my program on how to navigate co-parenting when you have a child with a rare disease. And those are some of the structures that I do teach in that program. If you need help with that, make sure you come join my program because I can really dive deep and we have community support with other moms that have been in the same boat and know your struggles and know exactly what you're going through. I know what you're going through because I've been there, I've done it. And to this day, there are days where they are harder than others. Now, we know as special needs moms, we have it hard already. And nothing would benefit your child more than to have you and the other co parent on the same level, on the same page to collaborate for the better interests of them, of your children. And it just makes everybody happy parents. And that's the goal, right? So if you want to know more on how to execute that, come join my program. It's an awesome 12-month program. I give you all 4 steps on how to collaborate with the purpose model, and I will show you how to co-parent effectively, communicate, set boundaries, and prioritize you and realign your life after divorce. So that is it for this week's episode. So I will have everything in the show notes about the program. If you want to come on the show, there's an application you can fill out so you can come and share your story. Follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, send me an email. I encourage all stories because I love to hear all stories. And if you would like me to share a story on a future podcast episode, send me an email. So, hope you guys have a great week, and I will chat with you next week.